On today's show, we discuss the importance of gathering the facts before you act, the importance of tracking the data that matters the most, the importance of looking at the actual facts before you act, and why you must always measure what you treasure. All this and more on today's edition of the Thrive Time Show.
Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here.
We started from the bottom, now we're on the top, teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. Z's bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of five, that's why I'm a dive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the CNC up on your radio. And now 3, 2, 1, here we go.
We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get
Yes, and yes, Thrive Nation. It is a very special occasion because it is always profound, Jason, when you are
above the ground.
Yes, when you're not dead.
True.
We have a lot to be thankful for here today. And what I wanted to do today is I wanted to deep dive into a subject. It's going to be offensive for somebody out there, Jason. It's going to irritate somebody. Somebody's going to be upset about it, but we have to do it.
I'm all about irritating people at 6:38 in the morning.
Okay, we're recording this at 6:38. Many of you are listening to this show at noon. Some of you are listening to it at night. We invite you to get irritated at whatever time you want to get irritated. But today's show, we're going to talk about facts over feelings. Gather the facts, then act. Jason, let's talk about this. Facts over feelings.
Yeah.
Gather the facts.
Gather them.
And then act.
Right.
Okay. So let's think about this. Let's get into how this applies to business directly right now, right off the bat. When a client of yours runs advertisements, right, and they think that a deal is going to work. Recently, I had somebody I know very well. I won't give any specifics, but they were passionate about running a special, an advertisement for their business. They're one of my clients, one of my friends, and I knew it wouldn't work. You know why I knew it wouldn't work?
Why is that?
Because the offer was ridiculous. And I'm looking at it. I don't have a vested interest in the business. I don't own the business. I want them to do well.
Right.
And I said to the person, "Are you the one who came up with this ad idea?" And the person let me know that it was their husband who came up with the idea.
Oh, there it is.
So I'm going, okay, so you're wanting to spend, $500 a week to run this ad all month that I know is not going to work, because I have worked with many clients who've tried a similar approach, and it hasn't worked in the past.
Right.
I would think it will not work in the future, but do you want to do it? And he says, I want to do it. So we say, so you're telling me that your husband wants to do it? Yes, my husband wants to do it. So I said, let's do this though. Let's run the advertisements. Let's get a great landing page. Let's run the ads. Let's run it. And then at the end of 4 weeks, if the advertisements don't work, can we agree on behalf of your wallet that we'll turn the advertisements off? And so, Jason, talk to me about why it's hard for people to see the truth that their advertisement, that their beautiful idea, that their advertisement idea is a bad idea. Why is it hard for people to see that their ad idea is a bad idea when it is they who have created the idea and or their husband or their wife?
Well, because there's always feelings involved. It's like advertising a lot is one of those things. It's not necessarily something I get pushback on, but it's where kind of like you were in that conversation, I have to step in and say, okay, well, is this proven? If you're wanting to throw it, like a lot of people look at it as the throw it at the wall, see if it sticks kind of thing, but that's a very expensive game to play. And so if you know, like the hot deal of the week, like having done this for a while and you having done this for, way longer than me, you see patterns like that. And so what I would recommend is the same thing you did. Okay, well, do we know if this is going to work? No, it's just something I felt. Okay, well, then let's go ahead and track it and see if it works. That way, when you actually have the factual evidence that it didn't, it makes them feel a little bit better. They're still a little crushed because every business owner who comes up with an idea for an ad or a special, that's like their baby. And you can't tell them their baby's not cute.
So when you run advertisements, again, you track the data. You track the data, right? Mm-hmm. You track the data.
Yep.
You track the facts, and then you act.
Exactly.
Track the facts, and then you act. Now, the rhythm of entrepreneurship is this, okay? You define, act, measure, refine. Everybody say it with me now. Here we go. Define, act, measure, refine. Like a good cult now. Define. Jason, you got to join my cult here.
Define. Act. Measure. Refine.
Define.
Act. Measure. Refine. Define. Act. Measure. Refine.
And then pretty soon it's like the crowd is
Measure. Refine.
define, act. And then what happens is at a certain point, no one has any idea what it means.
That's true.
It starts off as some guy who had a point.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden there's people in a mob just saying, define, act, measure, refine. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give another example of this, okay? So let's do when you recruit somebody, when you're hiring.
Yeah.
How often do you see it where a person hires somebody to work in their business, again, a client of yours.
Yep.
And they hire this person, and you know this person is crap.
True.
Okay. You know what? And I should add some meat on that, okay? This happened yesterday. A wonderful, wonderful client. And I won't mention the gender of the client because then they would know who it's about.
Oh.
But this person, they have a team member who's supposed to call the leads. So when the leads come in, their job is to call the leads and to get one Google review per day. One.
Seems legit.
One review per. Their job is to get how many reviews?
One
review per day, and to call the leads. This is their only job. And we look on the tracking sheet, and I'll pull up the tracking sheet for this client, and we track data for all of our clients, and that way we're not operating in the speculative zone. We're not operating in the I feel, you feel. See, feelings get in the way of facts. It's just so we don't want to get into the feelings. But I'm looking at the tracking sheet now. You tell me because you're seeing it here in front of you as well.
I am.
We go to the number of reviews that we've gathered, and for a while, the client had us get reviews.
Yeah, I remember that.
So here we are. It looks like since. They're not even putting in the data here, but it looks like since May, June, since May 2nd, May 20, it was May 2nd, it's the last week that we were calling on their behalf.
Yep.
We were calling their former customers to gather objective reviews. A lot of our clients will hire us to call their former clients to gather objective reviews on Google, which helps you rank higher, also helps provide social proof, validation, etc. It improves your branding to get more Google reviews. But anyway, so this client hired us to make calls to call their former clients to get objective reviews. And they had 368 reviews on May 2nd. Now, since that time, they have not gathered a single review.
They've actually lost one.
So we're talking in 8 weeks, the person hasn't gathered a Google review.
Yeah, and I mean, what was the math? They're supposed to get one a day.
Right.
So, I mean, you would assume it would have grown a lot, but I mean, that can't be possible, right?
So let's talk about this. So we're trying to examine this idea of why are we loyal to dysfunction? I mean, why is this guy, why is this lady, why is this business owner loyal to that person?
Because he's not looking at the facts. He's just looking at the feelings.
What kind of things do you think this person's looking at?
Do they consider that person enjoyable to be around? One of the biggest things that I found when it comes to this situation, a previous client I was working with had a terrible staffing problem. And the best option would be to just scorched earth, get rid of everybody and replace them. Because it's the same thing. They weren't getting reviews, but they didn't want us to get reviews. And every review that they were getting was on behalf of the customer. And it was 1 star because they hated the employees. And so I said, why do we keep them around? And they said, well, I provide their wages and they've got kids and I don't want to I don't want to put them out. And so a lot of people look at it through that lens. It's just like they want to be such a benevolent person. They don't want to give up the person that's causing them to be less profitable.
Which is actually an anti-biblical idea. I see a lot of Christian business owners that this is like for some reason they get stuck here. They won't fire a bad person. And if you whip out some Bible knowledge and you say Proverbs 10:4 states, lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. Why are you bringing wealth to a lazy person?
Right.
And they're like, well, they're related. So this particular situation, the person who won't get reviews, can I spill the beans? Can I let you know why this person has been kept on staff?
Why is that?
Because they're related to the owner. It's a tough economy, and we got to give them a job. So now, I mean, wouldn't it be easier just to stroke the person a check and say, don't come to work?
True. Be a lot cheaper.
Be a lot cheaper. So if you're out there today, I want to make sure we're getting this idea. When you're running your advertisements, track the facts and then act.
Do it.
Right?
That's all you got to do.
You got to measure what you treasure.
Exactly.
Now, hiring, same deal. Track the facts and then act. I mean, if the employee's consistently late, if they don't do their crap on time, is it mean to fire them, Jason?
No, not at all. I mean, if anything, if you don't, you're setting a bad example for yourself and how you run your business.
Have you ever managed people before?
I have.
And at one point, like 40 people you're managing, 45 people?
Yep.
Maybe closer to 50.
Yeah.
And have you ever had to tell an employee, hey, I need you to not bring your cell phone to work. Don't bring your smartphone to work. Make sure you keep your smartphone off.
Almost every day.
And are there certain people that just refuse to remember that idea?
Oh, yeah. It's like it's a new day every time we have that conversation.
What kind of stuff do they say is a way to justify? Do they say, oh, I forgot, or my bad, or I need it? What kind of justification will somebody provide?
Luckily I've never got the I forgot. They're at least honest enough about that. But it's always, I've got a sick kid, or I'm expecting a call from I don't know, like my realtor, or there's always an excuse of like there's some burning fire that could happen, so they have to have it with them. And it's constant, even though they know that we have systems in place to help protect them should there be a burning fire.
Right.
And if at any given point they actually need to, they've got brakes. And as long as everything's good, they can always jump to the back and get on that phone. But they always keep it with them because there's always something greater that could happen than their job.
Now let's talk about this. We talked about advertisement. Mm-hmm. And again, if you're making decisions based on feelings, you're going to be reeling as you have a bad year. You're going to be if you're focused on feelings, you will always be reeling. You'll be in pain. You'll be it's not going well. Again, Jason, if we're loyal to feelings, what's going to happen?
Nothing. If you're loyal to your feelings, you are going to be like, people love to throw around the phrases, I have anxiety or I'm depressed. If you deal in the feelings spectrum for too long, you will get sucked into that, and then your whole life is run by emotions and you become a very dysfunctional person.
The word reel or reeling, the idea is like somebody loses their balance, they kind of stagger, they lurch violently.
Sounds like me when I wake up.
So, I mean, if you focus on your feelings, you are going to be reeling financially. You're going to lose your balance. You're going to struggle. You're going to, Okay, let's give a third example, because I think somebody out there this is starting to resonate with somebody out there, okay? When you do your search engine optimization, Jason, there's 4 variables that impact your rank in the Google search engine results.
Yeah.
And that would be...
that is going to be having the most reviews.
Nice.
That's going to have Google compliance.
Oh, yes, Google canonical compliance.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be having mobile compliance, so is your site mobile friendly.
Okay.
And then that's having the most original HTML content.
And again, if you want to download my book, you can get it right now. You can go to Amazon. It's called Search Engine Domination, and for $20, you can.
That's a steal for $20.
For $20, or you can download it for free by going to thrivetimeshow.com/free-resources. Thrivetimeshow.com/free resources. Now, when you tell somebody this, how often does somebody come in and say, "Yeah, but my web guy, my web guy, he wants me to stick with my current site"?
More often than I would like to admit. It happens a lot, especially if somebody has a web guy. Or let's say we help them get to the top in Google, and then they start getting all of those spam leads where they're like, hey, we see you ranking #1 in Google, but here's 5 things you could fix. Let us do that. And they're like, well, this guy says maybe I should do these 5 things.
Right. So let's talk about it. If everybody does a Google search right now for Joplin Gyms, Joplin, Joplin Gyms, like fitness, Joplin Gyms, a fitness center, Joplin Gyms. I'll give you a second. Everybody type it in. Joplin Gyms. Guess who comes up top? Our client. Law Fitness. They come up 7 of the first 10 times. Unbelievable. Shaw Homes. They come up top in Google. If you do a search for Tulsa men's haircuts, we come up top in Google because we're following a proven system.
Right.
And you say, well, Clay, I want to learn the system. Okay. Then there's some great resources for you. You got Search Engine for Dummies by Bruce Clay, a great book.
Yeah.
Everybody can buy it. Search Engine for Dummies by Bruce Clay. You can read that's a great book. You can read Get Rich Click by Mark Ostrovsky. All right. Or you can read my book, Search Engine Domination. I'm not passionate about which book you read. I think my book is the most concise, to the point. We simplify it for you. But either way,
you're also going to get through that much faster.
Right. So now what we're going to do is now we know that there's somebody out there who's still making decisions based upon feelings. Now we're going to get into that light topic known as racism. Now, I'm going to cue up some stuff here, Jason, and I'd like for you to explain. You were the one who told me about this clip, And last time we talked, are you white?
Halfway.
Okay. What does that mean?
My mother's white, my father's black.
Okay, so you told me about an interview on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh yeah,
with a guy named Colin Noir, I believe.
Colin Noir.
Colin Noir, and who is this man?
Oh, he is the man. So I found him on YouTube. He is a lawyer from Texas. So he is a very outspoken black man who does not let his race change his biases. So he votes very Republican. Yeah. He actually came out on that podcast saying he voted for Trump in the original race and didn't care because the other options were terrible. And so he's been an NRA member and correspondent for years, but he's an attorney. He also is very into making sure that America knows their constitutional rights, and in particular the Second Amendment. So he's all about gun advocacy for all races, but he teaches to the point where a lot of people get this wrong. They think that the NRA was founded in order to keep guns away from black people. But it's the exact opposite. So he's basically just he has this platform on YouTube. If you check him out, it's amazing. But he only presents facts. He is the only person other than you that I've seen where his research process, it'll take him like a week to get all of the sources together. So by the time he makes like a 15-minute video, he knows what he's talking about. It's not just ethereal. He's the man.
I'm going to play this audio clip from his appearance on the Joe Rogan podcast as he's discussing Black Lives Matter. And because I'm not black, can't relate to what it's like to not be white, so everyone comes at it from a different perspective. But this is again, his name's Colin Noir.
Yep.
Okay, let me hit it. COLION NOIR. COLION Noir. NOIR. This is his appearance on the Joe Rogan podcast. Here we go. Let me hit play.
Yes.
And a lot of those people, generally speaking, are Marxist.
Yes.
That's pretty much it. That's why, I make a delineation when people are asking me about Black Lives Matter, for instance. Black Lives Matter, the sentiment, I can get down with. Black Lives Matter, the organization, I cannot.
And why is that?
Because they are not for the same thing.
So what do you think?
The leader, the founders of Black Lives Matter literally just came out and basically said she's a trained Marxist. She didn't basically said, she said blatantly, she's a trained Marxist. Both of them. The founders of Black Lives Matter organization
are these the
both
same
trained Marxists too.
Folks that went on stage with Bernie Sanders at one time?
I believe so. Don't quote me on that.
And took the mic from him?
Whoever the two women are who were the founders of Black Lives Matter, the organization, they are trained Marxists. Said it with their own mouth on the show.
And what? So
that right there, I mean, the idea that he is not a white man and he said that, why does that bother some people? What is the deal?
Well, a lot of people are going to say, they're going to treat him the same way that they treat Candace Owens when she speaks, the truth. They're going to say, you're a race traitor. How dare you?
What is a race traitor?
It's somebody, it's a BS term, really, but it's when somebody take Kanye, for instance. People say because he is pro-Trump and wants to vote Republican, that he is no longer supportive of his black, community. You have to be liberal. You have to be Democrat, even though the Republican Party was founded to help end slavery. But we don't have to talk about the facts. We just want to talk about the feelings. So everybody wants to fit within their status quo as far as racism goes or race goes. And then the second you step out of that line, you immediately become the antithesis. So people say, you think this way, you must be brainwashed. You're not down with the cause.
So because he doesn't follow the feelings,
exactly,
the momentum, the feelings, it can't be true.
Right.
Because again, people are loyal to dysfunction.
They are.
I'm going to cue up this audio. This is Kanye West discussing why he believes that black people should be able to vote for whoever they want to vote for. They don't have to vote Democrat every single time. Let me hit play here. This is Kanye West. Well, this is Kanye West's appearance on the Jimmy Kimmel Show, which is great. It was a great appearance. Let me find the clip I wanted to find.
Those horns.
Stand up for my home. Even if I take this walk alone, I bow down to the king upon the throne.
That's the song called Kanye West's song Closed on Sunday, his live performance on Jimmy Kimmel. Let me hit play here. I'm going to cue it up.
The most racist thing a person could tell me is that I'm supposed to choose something based on my race.
On a lot of stuff, we're going to have to agree to disagree. Because I think we're going to walk out the door with the same way that we walked in. You know what I'm saying?
But that's what I've been saying. Let's agree to disagree.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. I'm here to celebrate you.
God is showing that you can have your own thoughts, bro. I've been canceled before there was cancel culture. Who told you that my career would be over? The same people that are telling you that you can't have a right to say who you will vote for, those people will be soon to take Jesus out the school. Wake up, Mr. West, wake up, culture. Wake up. Everybody think they so woke, but they following the rules of what woke's supposed to be. I have turned my back on the idea of victimization mentality.
What is that idea of woke? What does that mean?
Oh, it's the biggest freaking thing you'll find on Twitter. It's somebody. What's so funny is everybody who says they're woke is not woke. That was the
What does it mean to be
best
woke?
quote. It means that you have a higher understanding. You have woken up to see the world around you. You understand that there are certain systems in place that other people don't. It's like Neo in the Matrix. You know, everybody else is living in that simulated world and they don't know what's going on. But you are the chosen one. You wake up and realize everything's being force fed to you, and there's a bigger conspiracy going on. But those people only hang out with like-minded people who think that they know things and they don't. I hate woke culture. I hate the word woke because those people aren't.
Well, let me do this. Let me play one more clip. This is Sheriff Clark, who his appearance on CNN discussing the Black Lives Matter movement. This is years ago. Okay, he's talking with Don Lemon from CNN. Here we go.
3 wounded in Baton Rouge, a really tough day for Baton Rouge and for the country, really. Here to talk about how to keep our police safe is Sheriff David Clark of Milwaukee County, Wisconsin. He is going to be speaking at the Republican convention tomorrow night. Sheriff, thank you very much for that.
It's the 2016
horrific
appearance.
day. I spoke to the heads of the sheriff department, the police department, and the state police down there, and they told us how their hearts were reeling. Their message is peace and coming together in the country. What's your message?
You don't believe that for 1 minute, do you?
That their message is?
Yeah.
That's what they said to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe them. Of
Any
course I believe them
protests
when they say
over
that.
the deaths of these cops today in Baton Rouge?
I don't know that. I don't know that.
Any riots or protests over the police officers in Dallas, Texas?
What are you asking?
It's a pretty simple question.
I asked you if what's your message to the people. Their message is one of peace. What is your message?
My message has been clear from day one 2 years ago. This anti-cop sentiment from this hateful ideology called Black Lives Matter has fueled this rage against the American police officer. I predicted this 2 years ago. So what I want to know,
okay, Sheriff.
do I want to know?
With all due respect, do you know that this was because of that? Do we
Yes,
know
I
that
do.
As a law enforcement officer?
I've been watching this for 2 years. I predicted this. This anti-police rhetoric sweeping the country has turned out some hateful things inside of people that are now playing themselves out on the American police officer. I want to know, with all of the black-on-black violence in the United States of America, by the way, when the tragedies happened in Louisiana and Minnesota, you know that 21 black people were murdered across the United States? Was there any reporting on that?
There was a black officer who was killed today. But
Was there any reporting on that?
Sheriff, please, let's just keep the volume down here. So I understand. And
What just happened there, Jason?
He beat up somebody who wanted to deal with feelings with facts, and Don did not know how to react to it. My favorite part, though, was when he asked, the police chief, or the sheriff, what his message was, and he immediately turns around and says, "That message that you just said is BS. Do you really believe that they have a message of peace?" And then stares through his soul, and Don can't look at him, so he's like, "I'm gonna go back to asking questions. It's gonna get me out of this." And that whole clip, so we watched that a couple weeks ago, and every time he states a fact, Don's like, sir, if we could just bring the volume down. If I'm trying to be civil.
That patronizing.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Oh, my God.
But again, we're talking about facts over feelings. So I'm asking you right now, whether it's who you vote for, whether it's what advertisements you're running, whether it's who you're hiring, whether it's the search engine optimization you're doing, whether it's the home you live in, whether it's the town you choose to call home, whether it's the friends you hang out with, act based upon facts.
Right.
Get the facts and then act. Quit letting your feelings be in control, because if you allow your feelings, if you make decisions based upon your feelings, you will find yourselves financially reeling. And now, without any further ado, we like to end each and every show with a boom, because boom stands for big, overwhelming, optimistic momentum, and that's what it takes to go from just barely surviving to thriving. Now, without any further ado, here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom!